Good morning, Robert. How are you today?
Good. I hear you're from Toronto.
Yes, I think you know that city pretty well, huh?
I know it really well. I, I want to know it less in the winter, though.
I listen. No surprise that you moved yourself from Dragon's Den to Shark Tank. Come on, we know why you did it.
People are like, "Don't you miss the winter?" I'm like, "Nope, nope, nope, don't miss it." Yeah.
I listen. I don't totally don't. I know exactly what you're talking about, my friend. But I have listen before we start talking about OneFlight International, which I find very interesting because I got a lot of questions about that. But you know what, Robert? Like over the last decade, seriously, when you look at how your life has changed, moving from the den to the tank, and then what has evolved since then. Did you ever imagine what life would be like now?
I couldn't have imagined, when Kevin and I started doing Dragon's Den, I think it was almost 15 years ago, and look where we are today. It's incredible. It's incredible what you can achieve in life and how twists and turns, and that's why I think you got to maximize your time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then, and being on Shark Tank, I mean, the it must be so gratifying. Listen, you guys have a lot of fun on that show, but you also, what I love so much about it is how it's impacted kids and how you bring kids on that show and what they bring to the table. That is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. What people don't realize about our show is we're the #1 show on television for family viewing. And if you walk around with me, 50% of the people that come up to me are kids. We now have fans and kids that weren't born when we started doing the show. It's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, kudos to you guys. It is. We listen. We love watching it here too, as a family as well. So thank you for that. Tell me about One Flight International. This is really cool, Robert, because as I am also someone who used to travel a lot, and boy, did I get sick of that airport, especially Pearson. I mean, come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, one of the greatest advantages you have is people who can maximize their time. There is no more time they're making. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so I'm really big about maximizing my time. And the challenge with private air travel, I mean, there is nothing more convenient. Imagine anybody who's gone to the airport, you got to get there 2 to 3 hours ahead of time. So I'm flying 2 hours for a meeting. I got to get there 2 to 3 hours ahead of time. With private air travel, I can be 5 minutes from my car into the airplane. There's thousands of smaller airports I can leave from. I don't have to go through the main terminal. I mean, I think people know all the advantages, but in the past, it's been either you own your own airplane, which you've got to be flying a lot to be able to do. It's very expensive, or you're part of some membership fancy thing, or you charter, which has been very difficult in the past because you got to know the kind of airplane, you got to know, where you're going, what you want to do. The great thing about OneFlight and the platform the Fair and the founder has built is you go to their app, badge, and we call it badge it, and you simply go on and tell them where you want to go. And within 5 minutes, it tells you the best airplane for your mission, where you're going to be going from, includes the price for your catering and your car on the other side, all at one flat rate. And all of that happens in the background. I don't have to know what kind of an airplane it is. All I got to do is go.
Yeah, but is this something that the average Joe can actually afford, or is it something that you would book as a business corporation? Who takes advantage of this
Yeah, well,
service?
for sure, it's always more expensive to fly private than not flying. But if you think about it, most people that are going to a business meeting for their company, it's pretty rare. It's just one person going. It's usually a team of 4 or 5 people. And if you can gather 4 or 5 people and you count the amount of time and hours saved, it's really not that much more. On the flip side, if I've got my whole family and we're going down the Caribbean for a vacation, if I count the amount of time I'm going to spend at the airports and I can get an extra day of vacation with my family, what's that worth to you?
Oh, priceless.
Priceless. And absolutely,
Yeah,
time is the most
yeah.
valuable commodity on earth.
Very cool. So, how did you get involved with them? Is it something that they sought you out, or just that you had gotten to the point because you traveled so much, you went, I got to find something that's going to work for me.
Well, I've been flying private for, gosh, almost 20 years, and I fully understand the advantage of it. One of the things I always look for in any entrepreneur is, do they know their business? When OneFlight approached me, I looked into the guy who started the company. His name's Farron, and he's built this app from the ground up. But he's not just a business guy, he's a pilot. He actually flies his own airplane. I want to deal with an expert, and that's one thing I love about this company. Not only do they understand business, they understand flying.
Hmm. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Well, this is very, very cool, and good luck with it and everything, because I think a lot of people will take advantage of something like this. I wanted to ask you, I mean, because we've seen you and we know you so well here in Canada, of course, but of course. We saw you a few years ago on Dancing with the Stars, and to me, that just looks like such an intense, such a hard thing to do. We don't know exactly what goes on behind the scenes, but it has to be crazy. So, what's more difficult, sitting next to someone like Kevin O'Leary in a Shark Tank, or working on Dancing with the Stars?
Oh my gosh, Shark Tank is the easiest thing in the world to shoot, and it's such a privilege. But it's five of us, and we're all, we all have big egos, and we show up in the morning and we just sit there. People don't realize the average pitch is over an hour, and we just talk. Dancing with the Stars, it's live. And I mean, when I say it's live, you've got a minute and a half to nail your routine. And if you mess it up, the camera stays on you. On the flip side, though, on Dancing with the Stars, you get to hang out with beautiful people, and I got to meet my beautiful wife. On Shark Tank, I get to hang out with Mark Cuban and Barbara and Kevin. It's just not the same.
Not to say that they're not beautiful too. I mean,
Well,
come on, really.
let's just say, let's just say they're beautiful in their own way.
Exactly. And so are you, Robert. We
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for your time. Best of luck with everything. We look for you always when you come and visit us back in Toronto,
I
of course,
appreciate it.
and we continue watching Shark Tank and everything else that you do. Have a great day, and thanks for your
Thank
time
you.
today.